So Paul McKenna in his book "I Can Make You Rich" says that money is one of the most emotive topics in the world. We're far more comfortable discussing our relationships than we are discussing money, and it is a massive subject, and a lot's been written about it, and a lot's been said about it, and it does provoke some amazing reactions in people. Um, I wanted to do a video basically from the viewpoint of spirituality, because in the whole spiritual scene, money's like this amazing topic. There's so many people who have so many hang-ups about it. So I wanted to kind of address a few of the issues, because I was doing a talk on Saturday. I could kind of hear like issues coming up around the whole thing about money, and obviously spiritual teachers, spiritual seeking, what it means to have money, whether money is a good thing or a bad thing, or whatever. And simply put, money is just a tool. It's just something that we use as a means of exchange. We had we had a barter system prior to that, sorry, and now we have pieces of paper and coins, and we use it to buy goods and services. But it provokes a massive reaction. Now, in the spiritual scene, it seems to be provoking quite a big reaction, because we're now looking at teachers who are doing financially very, very well, and kind of going, well, so we're questioning their authenticity. Now, the question is, why can't that person have that X amount of money? So the classic example is Osho, who had, I don't know, 50, 60 odd Bentleys or something. And you see it across traditions, like, for example, within the Sufi tradition, you see some of the teachers coming from the Indian subcontinent, and they've got lots of students, and, they give them a massive, fantastic amount of donations. And the guy's driving a really, really nice car, or he's being ferried around in a Range Rover, and it evokes reactions in people. Or within the non-dual scene, you've got that teacher who is charging, I don't know, X amount of money now to do a one-on-one, and it brings up a reaction in people. And sometimes you can actually see that people are kind of almost judging that teacher or that school's authenticity based upon the fact that there's money involved. So there's a certain teacher in the non-dual scene who over the years has kind of gone from absolutely nothing to massive gatherings now. And as he's gone on to massive gatherings, the prices have gone up. Could be something to do with the fact that his running costs have gone up as well. But it's evoked a reaction in people who are like, well, yeah, but he's charging too much now, and that teacher's better because they're charging less. They're actually just reflecting your ideas on money back to you. If you've got an issue with money, you're going to see it reflected in everything. And if that teacher who's charging too much is really pushing your buttons, but because he's charging too much, then maybe that's the guy you want to go and see, because that reaction is provoking something in you, which is an opportunity for you to grow or face it and see what the issue is. Because there does seem to be this whole idea that to be spiritual, or to be on this whole enlightenment awakening path, or whatever path you're on, there seems to be a real pride in being poor, competitive kind of, like, spiritualism, so to speak. Remember reading this book called City Boy, and the guy was a banker, and he's making this fantastic amount of money, and they're all kind of showing off, well, look, I've got the Ferrari, I've got the blonde girlfriend, and I've got this and I've got that. And then when he goes the other way and he ends up in India, he finds that there's people practicing that same competitive streak, but taking it the other way. Well, I've got less than you, which must mean that I'm more spiritual. And nothing could be further from the truth. You've got to remember, money is one of those things that's a medium of exchange, and some people will value what you do. I've done talks where I've not charged and nobody's shown up, and then I've done talks where it's donations and no one's shown up, or somebody's shown up, and then I've done talks where I've charged and all of a sudden everybody's coming through the door, and you're thinking, well, this is weird. I was offering this service for free. Because sometimes people may value, because there's a monetary amount on it, people may value it. So yes, you may not like the fact that that teacher's charging that much money, but then there may be others who completely see it as value, and to them it's relative. To them, paying this much for a course may not be so much. Again, it's your issue. One of the things that money can do is it brings up all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and a lot of it's like programming from our childhood or whatever. And if we can sit with that, we can really heal around this issue of money, because it is massive. It's huge, and in the spiritual scene, it's almost now being used as a bit of a battering ram. So and so teacher's doing really well. Well, he's charging this much money. Oh well, he's selling out. Well, he's now traveling the world. He now has some very real costs. He's now hiring bigger venues and stuff. Surely that must mean that his costs have got to go up. he's probably not just doing it just to coin cash, because let's be honest, this isn't a vocation that you choose. You don't kind of get up in the morning and go, well, I'm going to completely ruin my life and, walk out of my great job and all this stuff, or my great career, to talk about life, death, and the universe. And at the beginning, it is a very, very hard thing to do. And, at the beginning, you'll find that most teachers will go down this whole, let me offer this for free just to actually get someone through the door, because they probably won't want to do it themselves, because again, they've been kind of almost, they have that same issue of, oh no, to charge is wrong, to accept a donation is wrong, I'm being authentic, I'm being raw. But then as things happen, then you realize there's a very real dynamic of money starting to come in and out, because of the fact that you've got to run things, you've got to get to places and all that stuff. But it does kind of bring up reactions in people, because what I'm now seeing is a lot of people are sort of like saying, well, so and so is really successful, they're running around the world and also they're charging this much. And it's almost like what they're saying is, well, they're not as authentic as they used to be, or they're selling out. No, they're following their trail. They're doing it the best possible way, because at the end of the day, there's no business plan to this. There's no, idiot's dummies guide to this. You're going along and you're following a trail. I remember watching this woman on YouTube called Superwoman. No doubt everyone's heard of her, and she runs this fantastically, successful YouTube channel. And somebody asked, well, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to start their own channel? And she was like, well, just literally start. Because do you actually think we know what we're doing? We're just kind of making up as we go along. And it's the same thing within the spiritual endeavor. A lot of these teachers are having to face themselves in real ways. It's a different dynamic when you're sitting there in front of 2-3 people. It's a different dynamic when there's now 30 in the room. It's a different dynamic when there's 3,000 in the room. And the thing is, what you find is you're falling more and more into silence about the whole thing. But it's incredible how, there was one critic and now there's 1,000. And, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And money's one of those things, and one of those things that we can use to beat people over the head with. Well, obviously they can't be authentic, because guess what? They're charging lots of money. But remember, these people have got to eat. These people have got to survive as well. I remember reading a really cool article by this non-dual teacher about it. Because look, if you look in the Eastern tradition, it's a different dynamic. So in the Indian subcontinent, it's like it's seen as a way to support the teacher. So they will take on students, so students will stay loyal to them. And it's part of, almost in a sense, the spiritual path, that you take care of your teacher. So you donate, you take food round, you do their seva, so to speak, you take care of them. Now, a lot of teachers that this is being leveled about in the West are now in the West. It's a different dynamic here altogether. People don't have that time to sit around a teacher anymore. They don't have that time to go and take care of that teacher, or go and donate or cook or work around the ashram. They just want their spirituality nicely boxed up in a talk on a Saturday afternoon or a retreat. And that teacher isn't supported in the way they are, so now they've got to charge. In one way, there's almost more of an honesty when there's charging on, because I come through the door, I pay this amount of money, and I get what I've paid for. Whereas sometimes, using the whole donation model, you can see teachers who are like being blatantly unscrupulous and just taking loads of money off one person. I remember watching a live appeal for a so-called Sufi master, and yet there you go, I've said it, and he wasn't saying a word until people were donating over £5,000-10,000, and then he was like, yeah, I'm praying for you, you don't understand. And it's like, well, okay, this is interesting. There you go, there was a bit of my programming come up, because guess what, this guy could be completely authentic for all we know. But we're now like all beating up on him, because guess what, he's successful. But you remember, as the crowds increase, you will have to face things like money. It becomes a very real issue and stuff, and people do seem to really have an issue with it. But as a teacher, you're having to face it. You're getting bigger. And yeah, some of us can mourn the loss of innocence, but if you're following the trail, then there is no loss of innocence. It's just an idea that there is some sort of a loss there. So it's a mad one, really, because there seems to be this whole thing of we in order to be free, in order to be spiritual, we have to be poor, we have to keep our heads down. And then we go see teachers who are walking in and out of venues in Range Rovers, or doing retreats with hundreds of people, and obviously that adds up. Now, if that teacher doesn't have an issue with it, then why have you got an issue with it? They're showing, we're going to these people for solutions, and yet they're comfortable with the way their lives are going. Because remember, money shouldn't really be an issue. It's simply an energy. If there's a reaction, then be aware of where that reaction is happening, and that reaction is happening to you, where you are. So yeah, that teacher is charging too much, which I'm not very happy. It's causing agitation in you without even being there. Go see them, or go explore that issue as to why money seems to be such an issue, why it's such an emotive topic. I know I'll get some kind of crazy feedback on this stuff as well, because it does bring up a lot. But the thing is, it is generally just an energy, and we all have our issues around it. I myself personally have had issues about it since I started speaking, but now I realize that, hold on, no, I've got to accept the flow, whichever way it takes me. And as issues come up, or as this comes up, then you deal with it. But you realize this, money's just a medium of exchange. But it's amazing how much value we place upon it. We don't see that £5 as £5. We see it as my lunch. We've already given it meaning. Of course, it couldn't stay neutral. So try to be centered and focused and neutral about money, by realizing that it is really just a form and medium of exchange. It's no better, it's no less. You can have people who are very poor who are complete idiots, but you can have people who are very rich who are doing some very good work with their money. Just because there seems to be this cultural conditioning that, yes, okay, to have money is bad, there are just as many people doing really good work with their money, including that big teacher who's up on the stage now that you don't really like. He's still helping people, he's still doing things. Let's not be so judgmental about this. I think the path is hard enough as it is, the journey is hard enough as it is. So let's try to let go of the things that don't suit us. Money is an energy. It's not an issue unless you make it. So again, take your power back. But also, if feelings are coming up and reactions are coming up, then sit with them. And what you may find is, by becoming aware of what is holding you back, that's half of the issue done. So yes, that's that. I could have gone on a lot longer and done a lot more, but that just feels right. So yes, I'll be doing other videos as well. Got a few more ideas. I just felt I should do something about this, because there seems to be like such a drama about it. And the funny thing is, it's like that whole, I think, Buddhist proverb of, resentment is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. At the end of the day, your resentments are just hurting you. Your issue about it is just hurting you. So confront it, look at it, be aware of it. And what you'll find, it can only benefit you. Because if you see it's just a tool, it's just a way, it's a medium of exchange, and guess what's going to happen? It's only going to benefit you. So have a good day. Like I said, I will be doing some further videos and stuff. I've got some ideas. I've been getting some questions, which will, sometimes I answer them in person, sometimes via email, sometimes via video, so they'll be coming up as well. Please do subscribe to the channel. I'm getting a lot of people subscribing now and stuff, and it's fun, it's nice. It's good having that feedback as well. And plus, you're notified every time a video comes up as well, because sometimes I'm like, people are like, oh, I didn't realize this video. Well, subscribe, just click that button. You'll get an automatic email as well. So wherever you are, stay blessed, have a good day, keep smiling, don't take it all too seriously, and I will see you lovely people on the next video.